Firstly, I wanted to talk to you about your journey towards qualifying for the games.
Okay.
So tell me, when did you start CrossFit?
I started CrossFit back in 2016. Started in January, and then that led into my first Open in February in 2016. So I had about a month of CrossFit practice, and then jumped right into the local competition that everybody was talking about. They're like, the Open, you got to come at Friday Night Lights. We all do it as a group. We do it in heats, and I just thought that sounded super cool, and I just popped in and started off with them.
Yeah. Was it a good experience the first time you did it?
I think so, yeah. I guess the experience was more, how do I even say it? Okay. So we kicked things off. 16.1 came, overhead walking lunges and like burpees and chest to bar was my first year. And I remember that I couldn't hold the barbell in that position overhead very easily.
Yeah,
just mobility. I didn't have the mobility for it. My chest to bar were strict because I didn't have any of the kipping down or anything like that right away. But I'd say overall, I mean, it was a fun Open. I just kind of jumped into and like just went right into leaderboarding with the rest of the group that was there, and I ended up taking first place in the gym. Really? Which surprised me, surpassing some people that have done CrossFit for a lot longer. Yeah. But like I kind of had mentioned earlier, was I kind of came into CrossFit and I was like, I can do this. Give me a year, I'll be at the games, no problem. Yeah. And that was like kind of coming in, seeing the Rich Fronings and seeing the Annies and the videos on YouTube and that stuff. And it was a little bit humbling after the first year. I think I can't remember the placing, but I was the guys that had the experience in the gym said that I was a lot higher than they expected that I was going to be in. For the first year. For the first year, yeah. And so I kind of took that and was like, okay, well, that's cool. I'm excited about that. And I was like, okay, one more year, let's see what happens for the next Open. And then just over the years, it just progressively got better and better placements. And Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, so you did your first Open 2 months into CrossFit. Yep. How has the journey since then looked like? Because you qualified for the first time last year, which was 2022. Yep. And you started CrossFit back in 2016. So that's a long time. 6-7 year gap.
What have you been doing throughout these years? I mean, I would say a big part of the journey is just mentally being in it for that many years. Honestly, it was like let down after let down, get my hopes up and then get let down again and get my hopes up and let down, just event to event. And over the years, I used the Open as like my gauge to see whether I was getting better. And every single year on my Open leaderboard, I did improve in my spots. I made it to regionals in 2018, so it took 2 years to get to regionals. I got there, finished mid-pack, 24th place. Yep. And again, it was just another stepping stone to just little improvements every single year. But I think the biggest changes that I made were like in and outside of training I think year 3, I started adding in monostructural work because I had not known anything about that, and kind of getting the idea of like, oh, you should be swimming, you should be rowing, you should be running, but instead of just running out for a 5K, you should actually train running and get better at running and learn better technique and have some method to the madness, not just randomly going out. So bring it back down to the basics, the foundations. Same thing with Olympic lifting, same thing with just my Metcons in general, figuring out that there should be intentions behind the workout. It's not just go hard and black out every workout. There's a time and a place for that, but absolutely. So did you have a coach during this time when you were like trying to figure this out? I did not have a coach until 2021. Yep. So I didn't have a coach for 5 years of the thing. I don't know if that's me being a little headstrong that like I can kind of do it myself. Give me the programming and I'll do it. I'll put in the work. I'll do the hard stuff. So I just followed multiple different tracks over the years, from comp train to misfit athletics to grit with Jacob Hepner, and then eventually ended up with Proven in 2020. After the 2020 games, I saw that Proven kind of launched their TIA2 program, and I hopped on with that.
so each programming I feel like had its own like niche that it was like kind of targeting and focusing on. And then as I did my research and learned and kind of went through the process and learned from experience, even like I figured out what things I was missing, what things that I needed, figured it, like even just picking like weaknesses to work on and things that you need to bring up is an art in itself, and being able to program that in workouts is also
definitely
challenging. And that was the stuff that kind of made the difference. I feel like each year I kind of took something new, and each year meaning after the last of my qualifying spots was going, whether that's the open and I was done or it was regionals and I was done. I always took something that I applied over the next year that helped me increase to get a little bit better.
Take the next step.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. And I feel like I was never the most gifted athlete back in, I mean, even middle school, high school, like I could play the sports, I can do the things, like it didn't take me very long to learn how to do this stuff, but like putting in the actual, I wasn't naturally just amazing at sports or anything like that. So,
you had to work for it.
Yeah, I had to work for kind of every step of the way, and it kind of showed throughout my seasons too. Like, it took me 6-7 years to get there. So it's not an easy road. I had to earn every step of the way there, and then like all the mental battles of failure after failure, and like, oh my God, like when am I going to make it? Am I ever going to make it?
Yeah.
So
how have you, like mentally, how have you handled these setbacks? And just going through the motions with like fighting for something for so long and not really reaching all the way, but still continuing?
Mentally, I would say I'd be doing it anyway. Before, like I've had my run with like the bodybuilding world. I've had my run with powerlifting and just lifting to get big and just lifting to just be in the gym and trying out all these different realms of fitness. And I found that CrossFit's the most fun. I feel like I can use my talents the most, where it's not just weightlifting or not just running. It's like the mixture of everything, being good at gymnastics, jumping rope, climbing things, like just having that variety. Endless activities. And that like plays into like going and rock climbing on the weekends, or just going out for a random run, or like playing with the kiddo at the park and like being able to climb up and down on things and jump. And so I think the biggest thing is I'd be doing it anyway. I might as well be working for something. And I feel like I'm just pretty headstrong. Like I have a goal. I want, like, it's something that I'm trying to achieve. Like I'm not just going to quit and stop.
No.
And I mean, that's the same message that I try to carry over with my coaching and stuff too, is like your goals aren't going to happen immediately. Like you should be in this for the long run and for the life change, not just the next 30 days. Be like, oh, I don't see my results in 30 days, I'm done. It's like, no, you're doing this for the rest of your life. Whether it's nutrition-based, fitness-based, whatever. So it's kind of like a lead by example aspect too.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought of it now that you're talking about this. So how would you answer the question, what is your why?
Oh gosh, hard.
I know, it's a very hard question,
why?
But I think you were sort of talking about it just now?
A little bit. I'd say a big part of my why, I mean, I've been on this journey even before I had my kid, so I mean, she's one of my biggest whys too. Like, I want to show her that, again, just like I'm leading an example for my clients and my gym and the people that are here, and like just even people that I haven't met that like are striving to achieve their goals and like get better at things, like that you don't just quit something, you like see it out through the finish. And I just believe that health and I believe that CrossFit is the proper way to train. Granted that you're training the proper way when you're in CrossFit and abiding by the methodology and abiding by the intentions behind workouts and things like that. It's just, I feel like that's what you need to do. You need to have all those different realms. And then, it's just, you have a goal, work for it. The goal can change throughout. Like you can change your goals and things like that, but from day one in CrossFit, I said I was going to make it to the games, and then I said I was going to win the games. I said I was going to beat Froning and beat Fraser and all that stuff, and now it's just...
Now you have to beat Justin.
Now I got to beat Justin. Like that's what it is now. It's just I need to win the games. That's my goal. That's been my goal. So.
So, what are your thoughts for this year's season?
This year's season's looking good. Feeling strong, feeling fast, filling holes. I would say I'm filling holes more this year than I have in prior years, and I don't know if that's me necessarily executing, or it's just a matter of like finding those, like the things that I needed to get better at the beginning were very, very like, you could tell, like I needed to be a better runner, or I needed to have better endurance in longer workouts, or I can't push a sled, or I can't do chest to bars very good, or my technique was bad on something, or I wasn't strong enough. And now I feel like the details are a little bit smaller, but when I'm filling those, it's happening faster when you fill those weaknesses. So you can kind of put the pedal down on it, and then kind of compound effect takes over.
So what have you been working on since last year?
So something, for example, I would say is my grip strength. I would say movements where it's like high volume chest to bar, high volume toes to bar, high volume muscle ups, or things like that. My grip would go before my other muscles would fatigue, the ones that should fail first. So like something like my grip strength and being able to hang on to the bar for a lot longer of a time, or including barbells and stuff, and barbell cycling. So I think just mentally checking that box when I go into workouts where it is like big sets of chest to bar, big sets of toes to bar, hang onto the barbell for unbroken. It's kind of like focus on it. It's not about the wall balls that are in the workout. Like I did a workout this last week. It's not about the handstand walk. Like I'm fine with those. The chest to bar piece of the workout is my focus. So it's just being really detailed in each thing that I do throughout the day.
I also wanted to know, because you were talking about these past years, and it's been up and down, a roller coaster, I assume. Has there ever been a point where you have even thought of quitting?
Yeah. Lots of times. I mean, heck, I even think this whole last year after I made the games is still like, it's mentally challenging every single day, every single moment. Like you don't, like days that you feel good are very, very slim. Like that you feel good, you feel ready to train. Like every other day is, you're feeling down, you're feeling tired, you're feeling sore, this hurts, this aches. Am I good enough? Like the mental side starts coming in. You doubt yourself. Even when it comes to, I mean, even looking at my physique in the mirror, or eating my food, and like, what am I doing this for? And like it always comes back to that. And it's just a matter of continuing to just push through that. Know that there is a process, and you just got to trust the journey. You have your goal. You have the plan to achieve that goal. You just got to do the task. You just got to do it. And then I think the biggest thing that's helped me with that is this year I've like learned to have a lot of fun with my training.
So the Games 2022, tell me about it.
Where do we want to start?
Give me some statistics first. I placed
14th. Got Rookie of the Year and won 2 events at the Games.
Tell me about the events.
The events that I won? The speed skill medley was the first one. They came out with a bunch of brand new movements, legless pegboards, crossover double unders, and then it was just like a really high skill, just gymnastics workout.
What was your first thought?
My first thought of the workout was like, I kind of looked over at my coach and I was like, I think I could win this one. And I literally said that to him back in the warm-up area when they were briefing us about the workout. I was like, I've done all those movements before. And then after looking around the warm-up area and seeing a lot of people struggle with like specifically the crossover double unders, I was like, oh my God. He asked me if I could do them. So I went and I did like 10 right away unbroken. He was like, okay, don't show anybody else that. He was
That's
like,
smart.
Yeah, he was like, no more. We don't have to practice those anymore. And that was the third section of the workout, and you had to get there to be even able to do that. So like my first thoughts were, all I got to do is be able to make it out of the first round of the workout, and then I think I can progress from there. Because the first round, everybody could do all the movements. It was 3 regular pegboards up and down normal, then you had to do 10 pistols each leg and a couple single unders, and then a little bit of a handstand walk obstacle course, and like every athlete could do that. So I was worried that was the most stressful part. As soon as I got through the first round, I was like, oh my God, I just exceeded my expectations for an event at the Games. I'm finishing in the top half or whatever. The second round came and it was the legless pegboards. Legless pegboards, regular double unders, pistols, and then a pirouette before the handstand walk.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, I can do all these just fine. The pirouette was the only thing in that round that I was like, so the legless pegboards, I've done those because I've trained at Ninja Warrior gyms in the past, just like for fun on the weekends, just to like change up training, go do something different, go do something new, have fun. So I knew I could do pegboards without legs, and everybody else was like, oh my gosh, I've never tried that before. So I was like, okay, well, I got that. And then it was like just a thought, like I had to make sure that I hit my pirouette the first time, no fail, no mess up, and just get across the finish line and go.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I edged out the next guy by about 5 seconds or something like that, and then I moved on to the final round. And by that point, I was like, heck, I could take last place in this heat. I don't even care. I just took a 5th place event at the games my first year. And then, we get into that event, and I think it was a regular pegboard and a legless pegboard, so that was no problem. Got to the crossover double unders, and I hit my first 10 unbroken, 10, 15 unbroken, and all of a sudden the crowd just went absolutely nuts.
I was sitting in the crowd.
Yeah?
Yeah, everyone was just mind blown.
Yeah, and I think it had something to do with the girls before, because none of the girls got through it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was like really quiet, and then all of a sudden just erupted. And then they started, I heard my name over the speaker. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. I was like, if I keep going, I can win the event. And I was like really conscious of that. I was like, just don't mess up.
Yeah. Easy enough. Don't mess up.
Yeah, easy enough. Just don't mess up. Don't trip on the jump rope. So I did a couple more sets, and I got through the jump rope, hit my pistols, and then I was approaching the L-sit to press handstand, and then walk across the traverse and then down the slope to the finish line. I was like, okay. As I was approaching it, I was like, nobody else has moved past the jump rope yet. Take a breath. I was like, just hit it the first try, because I've done that movement too quite a bit. A press handstand, just playground shenanigans, fun stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff you see on Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instagram
these little
best.
calisthenic guys that can do like all these crazy tricks that you just have fun and just try.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got up, I pressed up and I got into the handstand and I was walking across the bar. I was like, oh my God, I just won my first event at the games. Like, absolutely surreal.
What did you think and feel in that moment?
It was amazing. I was walking across the bars. I knew I wasn't going to fall at that point because I've done that a million times, walked down the slope. I was like, just make sure you cross both hands across the yellow line. And when I was walking, all I saw was like white floor, and then I saw the yellow tape line. I was like, put my hands down. I was like, I did it. I just won an event.
Yeah.
How crazy was that?
That's insane.
Sprinted across the line and just,
It was awesome. Really cool to see it.
It was amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that was like just all the goals that I had over the last 7 years coming out right there. Yeah. Let alone 2 event wins.
Exactly. So the second one, that was the sandbag?
Second one was the sandbag.
Yeah.
Just pick some heavy stuff up, put it on your shoulder, and then drop it, and then scream.
Yeah, easy enough.
Easy enough. I always, my background was strength training.
Yeah, you're really strong, so yeah.
Lift weight, get strong, get as big as possible, get as strong as possible was the goal for year after year after year after year after year. So pretty confident going in that I was going to be in the top of that just after seeing strength events from prior years and stuff and like testing them in the gym, like in terms of like the CrossFit total, and like I knew I was up there with like
one of the stronger ones.
My max numbers. But I never cleaned anything on a sandbag more than a 250-pound sandbag. We got one here, but the first weight there started at 260.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, first one's a PR, and we'll just go up from there 10 pounds. And
how hard can it be?
Yeah, it was just 10-pound jumps all the way up. I was like, it's a little jump. You'll be able to feel out each lift. And I was like, I was surprised how many people made it as far as they did.
Yeah.
But then we got to the 320, 330, 340 bags, and then people dropped off pretty quick. Overall, the event just probably was the least stressful event of the entire games. Yeah. Because it turned from people being competitive and serious at the beginning of the event to kind of just like a bro sesh feel towards the end of the event. It was like 6 or 7 of us just down on the floor.
Just having fun.
Kind of having fun, hyping each other up, like kind of being able to sit back and like take in the crowd, take in the moment. Kind of felt like a scene out of Gladiator. Like pick up the bag and then everybody's screaming and you drop it and people are beating their chest and it was good time. Chalk was literally everywhere.
Of course.
Yeah, it was.
That's okay with sandbags though.
Huh? That's okay with sandbags. Yeah, we chalked the quads, the forearms. Yeah, we used
face,
literally everything. Yeah, take a bite out of it for intimidation. Yeah, it was good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and then none of us could lift the 350 bag when they brought that out.
No, but it was a fun twist.
It was a fun twist to just give her a go.
Yep.
And then we had the tie-break race to the finish, where me and Guy tripped the timer on the exact same to, 100th of a second?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm blind. I can't really see very well. So like I couldn't read the screen when I was looking up there because I thought he beat me. And then like I saw that the timers were the exact same and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I'm like sitting there, there's like pictures of me like squinting up there. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I got some pictures of that.
Yeah,
too.
you got some photos of that today too. And the clock's just right there. So
Yeah. That's cool. And what about Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year, that was another thing that I kind of set out. I kind of just threw that out there as a goal right away. Like, I don't know what my expectations were really going into the games. Like, I knew I didn't want to get cut. I think they brought it down to like the top 30, I think, or top 20 by the end of the weekend. They had 2 cuts or 1 cut? Something like that.
Was it 1 cut? Top 20?
I think it was 40 to the top 30.
Yeah, maybe.
20? I can't remember. Anyway, I just told myself, I was like, I don't want to get cut. I want to make it the whole weekend.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, actually, he was like, I'm only going to be there on Saturday and Sunday. He was like, so you better still be in the games at that point. And the cuts were done by Saturday.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of my main goal, was to just make that. I just wanted to finish the weekend. But I kind of had just set out a goal. I was like, I don't know what it takes to get the Rookie of the Year, but I want the Rookie of the Year. And at that time, I didn't know that it was the highest placing rookie, I don't think. I thought it was like stellar performance as a rookie or something like that. So, on the last day when they started talking about it, I was like, oh my God, she's describing me right now. Because she was like telling like a little bit of a bio. Yeah. And just, that was
cool.
insane.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And so you told me that your goal for next year is to be Rookie of the Year again.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year,
First time
second
ever.
time. First time, 2-time Rookie of the Year comes up.
That's a good goal.
No,
that's
my
a good
goal.
So,
just kidding, it's to take that podium.
so for next year, except for like obvious goals that you may have, like placing whatever, do you have any other goals that isn't a placing or not getting cut or something like that?
I would like to have more event wins. I want that to just be something that's, and I want more event wins in the fact of like, it's not just a strength event or it's not just a skills event. I want event wins in terms of what used to be weaknesses or something.
Grip strength.
Yeah, something that involves like a DT or something. Like that would be something that would be like a huge PR improvement, some kind of like, and
you get to prove to yourself that you've done it. Like you have killed this weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Or something like even swimming.
Yeah. So according to you, who is this app for?
The app, the Relentless method app. I would say, if I was to pinpoint the type of market that the app will generate, it's the people that don't really have a structure to their programming, people that don't know how to create structure to their programming, not only don't have it, can't find it somewhere, like haven't found something that they like, but can't write it themselves either, or figure it out, or put things together. People that want to train with intention, because this will give them direction towards the things that they need to work on and towards their goals. The people that want to go to like open gym and be able to go from doing 5 pull-ups to being able to do 10 to 15 pull-ups in workouts to like get their first muscle up and then, okay, now can I do 2? Can I do 3? Can I do 4? Basically, they want to make their improvements. They want to improve on their skills. They want to get stronger, get faster, get fitter, but they don't know how to do it. Maybe aren't in the CrossFit space enough even to like know what different programming or things are, things like that. It's like, it's kind of having your own pocket personal trainer.
Exactly.
That you just open up, you follow, you abide by, you stick to the process, you just, exactly. You can bring other friends into your workouts with you.
And have fun.
Like literally, like that's the whole message now is just,
Absolutely.
For sure. Pocket personal trainer. That's a good way to put it.
Exactly. So we like to call these people the enthusiasts of CrossFit.
Okay.
It's not the top level competitors.
Yep.
It's not the beginners, although we also aim to reach the beginners.
Yes.
But I think our biggest crowd is the enthusiast.
That middle ground.
Exactly, and that was what you just explained.
Yeah. Definitely the middle ground of people. The people that know how to do all the movements.
Yeah.
And efficiently even. They just need a little bit more guidance in the things that they want to do outside of just doing normal classes.
Exactly.
And even if they don't have classes, they want to go do it in their garage
Yeah.
and have their garage gym going on.
Yeah.
Like I just met with a couple people today that said that, we tried the garage thing workout. They say what? Push-ups and sit-ups, and then a couple air squats, and it's like, oh, I don't know what to do outside of that. It's like, well, okay, now you can have an app that tells you what to do, and then you can
does all that thinking for you.
Does all the thinking for you.
You don't have to do it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you get to log your pieces and all that stuff to track.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a good answer. So something that we've been talking about a lot ever since we started, and when we discussed our brand blueprint, is the fact that we believe that the fitness and health industry is broken. And creating this app and doing all the things that we have done and the things that we want to do is our way of contributing to fixing it, to fixing the health industry,
issues,
to make it better, and to make it more accessible for people. So what's your take on this? If I tell you that the fitness and health industry is
what's
broken.
wrong with the industry itself?
Yeah.
I mean, the issue is there's so much information out there. There's so much information out there that people can just ADHD. They just go from one thing, and then this person says something else, so then they just flip to that, and then they hear something else, flip to that. They see this person, they like how they look, so they do that. But that person's not doing what they're promoting, so then they're not getting the results that they want from them.
Exactly.
It's just so misleading in so many ways. And there's accurate stuff out there. There is.
But how do you find it?
But how do you find it? Yeah.
And
How do you
know?
decipher the difference other than, experience, but that takes a long time, especially if you're trying to achieve your goals. And granted, it takes time to achieve your goals in general, but you need to have some path. You need to have some structure to all of it. And you need to be able to come back to it and have something going the whole time. I would say, there's tons of big issues with that.
Yeah.
So, using the app, we just kind of get back to
Exactly.
It takes all of that noise away, and it just kind of puts the focus on that one thing, and it's tailored to you, how you sleep, how ready you are to work out, exactly where you're at with your fitness level and what things you need to work on, and you can completely customize it, and it customizes to you based on each and every day. So
So you have been a coach for a long time. So what would you say is the most important thing for people who are in their beginning phase, starting to get into training phase?
Starting to get into training is, we've talked about, is master the basics, build the foundation. You don't need to come in and all of a sudden PR a deadlift. It's getting on something that's regular. It's being consistent in the gym. If somebody was to walk in tomorrow and they haven't been working out in a while, the biggest thing is just show up. Who cares what's on the board? We're going to modify it to wherever your fitness level is at, and we're just going to go from there. But you got to stay consistent first. If you work out once a week, you're going to come in the next week, you're going to be just as sore as you were the first time working out. And then again, the next week, it's going to be the same soreness because you're resting for 6 days. So it's get in, accept that you're going to be sore a little bit, okay? 2, 3, 4 days of working out, stay consistent, and then build off of that.
Just keep showing up.
Keep showing up. Keep showing up. And then you build the habits, and then once your habits are built, then you can focus on other things.
Then you can progress from there.
Exactly. But if the habit is, even something as simple as nutrition, if you're not habitually going to the grocery store every Friday or every Saturday to get your new roundup of food for the next week, you're going to fail every Friday. You're going to do meal prep for a week, and then Friday's going to come and you're going to be like, oh crap, I don't have the grocery store. You're going to fall into bad habits again. So it's something as simple as that, of just, you need to build the habit before you progress.
Exactly. So It was a really good answer. If I would ask you the same thing, basically, but take it one step back. So for the people who haven't gotten to the gym yet, what do they need?
In the gym yet, like as in, like never touched the gym?
Or they have, but you know, like take here for an example, like people who haven't walked through the door and
so
it's
like
already
they're at
committed.
home, they're like, oh, I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I need to get a membership.
Yeah.
I need to, but they say it week after week after week after
Yeah.
week.
But they want to.
Yeah,
it's
they
not,
want to.
It's not something that they just say. They want to do it.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, you gotta have enough discipline to just take the step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just you have to do it. You just have to start. At some point, the excuses or the delaying, the procrastinating, like at some point there's gotta be a flip of the switch that's just like, I did it. And not like I'm doing it, I did it. Like I left the house, I went to the gym, or I signed up, or I did what I needed to do, and then that's it. But there's gotta be, there's no sugarcoating that step.
No.
There's no like beating around the bush. You're not gonna accidentally sign up at the gym. Like you have to deliberately just get up and just make that first step.
And do it. Yep.
And do it. Yep.
Yep. So it's a decision.
Yep. After that, yeah, it's gonna be hard and it's gonna be inconsistent and stuff like that, but you can't even begin to be inconsistent until you just take that first step.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You can't skip that step.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Exactly. We got to the golden question.
The golden question.
Are you ready?
I think so. Uh-oh.
No, it's fine. So the question is, what makes you relentless?
What makes me relentless? Gosh, these questions. Somebody said, describe your CrossFit year in one word the other day, and I was like, no, I don't know what it is. What makes me relentless? I actually hashtag it a lot, relentless, and I think it's, what makes me relentless is I feel like I've created myself to be a disciplined person. And along with my journey from the games, like for the last 6-7 years, and I've always been like this, like once I make a goal, like I'm disciplined and I'm focused on that goal. So it's just, I'm gonna do the process anyway. I'm gonna work out because I love working out, because it's something that I just love doing anyway.
Yeah.
And I might as well just give it my best effort every single time that I'm there. And best effort doesn't mean perfect. Best effort is like whatever I have on that day, whatever I have for that piece of the day. Like, and then just continuing to do that because I know that it's part of the process. Like it's just something you need to be doing. And just relentlessly going after that.
Yeah. Another mic drop.
Boom. Boom. Let's go.
That's good.
Crushing these questions. I'm just kidding.
What is your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about like, it's
chest bars or anything.
chest bars.
Yeah.
No, but like in general, what is your biggest weakness?
Biggest weakness, like in life?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is a tough question.
Yeah. There's a lot of tough questions here.
This one's like philosophical.
Yeah, it is. Dig deep.
I would say my biggest weakness that's going to stop me from moving forward, is that kind of like the direction we want to go in it?
Yep.
Stop me from moving forward towards my stuff is honestly myself.
In what way?
In the way that every single day there's those thoughts that are like, oh, you don't have to do extra cardio, or oh, you can eat some ice cream, or you can just chill, like, and you can justify your actions very easily in any circumstance. So I think the biggest weakness is myself in terms of just trying to tell myself to not do something or skip something, or I just don't feel like it. But then being, again, relentless and disciplined and mentally tough enough to recognize that and
shut it down
right away and just be like, no. Because if you give it any mustering, if you give it any thought and it continues to build up, it's going to overrun you and you're not going to be able to beat it. So it's like you got to shut it down immediately, and as soon as those thoughts creep in, you do exactly what you're trying to procrastinate yourself from doing.
Yeah.
You just do it. Yep. If I don't want to run cardio, boom, I just start walking out to the garage, get out there, get on the runner. And as soon as you start doing it, it's not as bad as your mind tries to make up right away. So yeah, I would say that's kind of the biggest thing in terms of weakness is yourself.
Yeah, and that's a big thing with stuff like that. Also, like both when you're a voice in you is trying to tell you not to do something or to do something, like something bad, to just like disrupt it like that. Do it right away. Because the longer you sit with it, the louder that voice is going to get.
Exactly.
And it's going to get harder. So
and then unbeatable at some point.
Yeah. And once you also like, if you slip to these thoughts, if they take over completely and you do the thing or don't do the thing, it is going to be harder the next time.
Because it's just habit then.
Yeah, it's a habit.
So it forms habits again. Like you form good habits by repeatedly doing good things and things that you're supposed to be doing. And on the back end of things, just because you don't do something doesn't just cut it off there.
No.
That now starts building habits in the other direction that you always don't do the thing or you always do the thing or whatever. Like and it's just a habit to say, no, I'm not going to go run. Not going to go work out. Not going to go exercise. Oh, the drive's too far for the gym. And every time you come back to that thought, it's going to be like, oh yeah, the drive was too long. I'm not going to go.
Next question.
I'm ready. Maybe.
Who is your biggest role model?
Biggest role model? Gosh. All the things I choose not to think about. I think I've said this before. I do a lot of personal development in terms of listening to motivational speakers, listening to reading books. Maybe not reading books as much, if I'm being honest, anymore. I used to read a lot of books, but I'd say mostly a lot of audio, visuals, of getting better and improving. And I listened to a personal development with an actor, Matthew McConaughey, and he got asked the same question one day, and he said that his role model was himself in 10 years. And basically the moral of the story is when that 10 years comes, he's himself in another 10 years. And the message behind that is, in a sense, not getting complacent with where you're at regardless. I made it to the games, cool. 14th fittest man on earth this last year, so what? It's 2023, it doesn't matter anymore.
No.
It doesn't matter to sponsors, doesn't matter to spectators, doesn't matter to supporters or fans, matters to my mom, maybe, you know what I mean? She's excited. Even the girlfriend, you know what I mean? She's, what are you gonna do this year? My daughter, when she looks at it, she's like, Dad, you didn't win. And it's
no.
My role model is continuing to just look forward to the person that I'll be years after this year and continuing to improve and not be complacent and just be a better version of myself every single year. I would say that's kind of my biggest role model-esque thing.
Really good answer.
Yeah?
It's very deep.
Love it. That's good. It's good.
Really
I can be philosophical. It's been a while, but I'll bring it out a little bit.
Do you consider yourself to be a role model to anyone but yourself?
I would say that I don't actively think of myself day to day as a role model, but like I said before, I want to lead by example. And that's kind of the way that I coach, the way that I train, the way that I work out is okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'll almost hold the standard of that. If I'm gonna make somebody else go run outside in the rain and tell them to quit whining about it, I will be running in the rain as well. So. And I like to think that I'm a good person. I like to think that chipper, have fun, enthusiastic personality, you know what I mean, can bring people out of dark places that they've been in. So I think that just kind of getting all those things, getting healthy, fitness, getting around good people, just that entire being a happy person, being even just trying, you know what I mean? Even if people are feeling upset and things like that, it's just
trying to be that person.
The act of trying, will improve your life drastically. So and I came from that place. I was never the person that would stand up in front of a class and talk to everybody. Like in school, I never raised my hand. I was super insecure. I had, I had like extreme acne, like nerd, played video games, like acted out as like a class clown sometimes and stuff like that. But like I would never like seriously sit up in front of people and try to educate or teach or help or anything like that. But it wasn't until I started trying that I opened up like the person that I actually could become.
Yeah, if you did that.
If I did that. Yeah. Yep, and people don't know. People are so stuck sometimes in their own spot that they have no idea what they could actually be doing or the person they could actually be becoming or the life they should be living that is a much positive, more happy, healthy life because they don't try. Yeah. So, I don't know, I'd like to be a role model, I guess, and lead by example in that realm and be like, do the things that make you happy. Like, what's the worst that can happen by trying to be happy and enthusiastic and joyful all the time? Yeah. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah. You're not just going to be like, oh, I hate being a happy person. I'm done.
This sucks.
Yeah, this is horrible. No, it's going to lead you to build momentum towards other things that you're trying to do in your life. Yeah. So, yeah.
Good answer again.
Let's go.
We're getting into
PR.
Deep stuff.
Yeah, right? Yeah. PR. This is way easier than trying to tell people how to eat healthy on camera.
In what way does or has the first generation of CrossFit athletes impacted us? And how do they impact us still today?
The first generation, like
Jason Khalipa.
Like the Jason Khalipas and all that stuff back in the day?
Yeah.
I would say the ways they impacted us. I would say one of the biggest things is showing us what's possible. I think it's a collective, yes, but I think there's a lot of certain people that kind of push that envelope too in terms of what you can do and be fit. Like I just watched a podcast the other day and Froning was talking about when he first started, people were like, oh, if you do 2-a-days, you're gonna die. Like your body's not meant to do a 2-a-day. Like, and he did a 2-a-day and he was like, oh, I can do a 2-a-day. And then he's like, oh, I can do a 3-a-day and then 4-a-day and then however many training sessions after that. And that's kind of what he said in the podcast. And I think that's part that's impacted. They've upped the ante of like what the human body is capable. Like we can walk on our hands, we can lift really heavy weight, we can swim long distances, run long distances, have all these different types of fitness abilities, whereas 10 years ago, and even still today, people think that it has to be enhanced somehow in order to be able to do that. Yeah. Okay, like people talk about steroids. Yeah. It's not possible to be, I just had this conversation yesterday with somebody. They were like, they were telling a friend of mine, they were like, oh, it's not possible to make it to the games if you're not on steroids or you're not. Yeah. Some people really think that, like everyone at the games. Die hard think that. It's like, really? Yeah. Like, if I was on steroids, you think I would have stopped at a 585 pound back squat? Yeah. No, I would have lifted 600 pounds on my back. I would have lifted 700 pounds. Like, no. And honestly, I don't care, like those people that think that stuff, but I like and that's why I like CrossFit, because when I was a big bodybuilder, I couldn't run a 5K without stopping. Yeah. So I felt inferior, like I like a lesser human, like I couldn't, there's something I'm not able to do. And I kind of take that approach now with like CrossFit is like, I don't want there to be something that I'm not able to do. Yeah. Like, and I talk to members about that all the time. I'm like, why would you not want to be able to do a crossover single under? Yeah. Why not? Like, you want to be able, like if somebody says, hey, can you do that? And you say no. Like we just talked with the guy today about that. Yeah. And just different skills like that. Like I want to be able to do an iron cross in gymnastics. You know what I mean? I wanted to learn how to do a backflip on the flat ground, so I did a backflip on the flat ground and I practiced and was able to do it. And it's like, that's the stuff that keeps you young, keeps you like just living a better quality of life. Just in having fun. It's fun again, to learn things. It's fun learning. And I was a terrible student back in the day and I hated learning. Yeah. And I hated everything to do with school. And now if I was like, go back and redo it, like just to actually dive down a little bit deeper into each of these realms of like sciences and geography and astronomy and stuff like that. Yeah. And actually the process of learning is more fun. Yeah. So, yeah. To wrap it all up is like, continue pushing the envelope, or like just continue pushing your abilities and what you can do, and let's find out what the human body is capable of doing. Like,
exactly.
Let's find out.
Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. They opened that door.
They opened the door, and every generation after has continued to push that door open farther and farther and farther.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. I mean, I even look at Fraser. Like, he retired, yes, but he was at top of his game, and he was, 31?
Yeah.
Winning the games, and he had a lot more in the tank. Like, that's just something that, okay, maybe CrossFit isn't done when you turn 32 or 33.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's gonna be fun to see these teens that are really good right now. You know, they've been doing CrossFit since they were, what, 10?
10 years old. Yep. They've been experienced with their parents, even younger than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've been
my daughter,
in the gym since forever.
Yeah, she was in the gym at my personal training studio ever since she was born. Literally came with me every single day to help coach classes and stuff, and she grew up in the entire environment.
So do you think they will be able to do this for longer?
I think so, because I think now more than ever there's a bigger focus on recovery. And again, I think people are getting away from the idea of like having to work out in your dungeon all the time.
Yeah.
So I think alongside of doing it and being happy about it, with the bigger focus on recovery and making sure that this is a longevity standpoint, and people don't want to die at 60 years old anymore.
No.
They don't want to have heart attacks at 45,
No.
40 years old. People are genuinely, and these generations that are to follow, and like my current generation, like we're the generations that are like wanting to live long, healthy lives, want to be 70 years old and being able to run around and do stuff like that.
And the generation who actually does the things that is required in order for that to happen.
Yeah. People enjoy working out now. It's not a chore like the generation above mine.
Yeah. And I think
my parents don't enjoy working out.
No.
Their parents probably didn't even know what working out is.
No.
And like their parents, we're like one of the first generations that are really taking action ahead of the curve, ahead of people already getting obese and then saying, oh, I should work out.
Yeah.
Now we're like getting out of high school and we're like, oh yeah, I should still stay in the gym. Like I shouldn't just go drink all the time. Like, if I want to drink a party, I'll just go to the gym too and maintain somewhat of a healthy lifestyle.
And I think there's a lot of aspects that goes into that, but one of the things is the having fun part.
Yeah.
Like today compared to decades ago, training, like the norm is that training is supposed to be fun. Back in the days, it wasn't supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it was supposed to look good. It was for the elite who wanted to be buff.
Exactly.
And all
but
the
now
myths of women don't work out because they get too buff. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That
now it's
is
for
all
everyone.
going away. Yep.
Anyone can do it. You can have fun with it. Just find whatever it is that is fun.
Yep. Even when I was growing up, something as small as the myths. Oh, if you work out before 12 years old, you stunt your growth.
Yeah.
Complete myth.
Yeah.
You shouldn't lift weights before you're 12. Complete myth.
Yeah.
Squatting below parallel hurts your knees. We heard that all the way through high school.
Yeah.
Like that was even like 10 years ago when I was in high school that they were telling us, oh yeah, you only squat to parallel.
Yeah.
If your knees go over your toes, that's really bad for your knees.
Yeah, that's bad.
So it's only a matter of time, like what else are we learning? And like we're in a big learning curve now with this stuff. Like what else are we going to learn in the next 10 years that is going to excel people to be able to perform
Even better,
even longer.
Yeah. And
for their
to
careers.
just be healthier also.
Yeah. Like the people that are doing CrossFit and they're 12 years old now, like those Justin Medeiros that are just starting CrossFit now at 12 years old, where are they going to be in 10 years in terms of their own health?
Yeah.
When there's a focus on it now from their parents, from their brothers and sisters.
Yeah. And they're having fun doing
Younger
it.
generations. And they're in communities. Like everything in the gym atmosphere is turning into community stuff now. F45, Orange Theories, CrossFit gyms, it's all community based now.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's the correct way to do it.
Yeah. And that is the way that will keep people showing up.
Yep.
Because they have a community, they have
Friendships,
they have, a place to go, a place where they feel like they belong. And that's a big thing.
Yep.
Relentless launched the app for free for anyone under 20 years old just a few months ago. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm too old.
You're too old. Shit.
Darn, I missed that. Thoughts on that? I think it's great. I think it's, again, that is the age in which people need the most direction. It is not the age where people make like long lifetime decisions. Like when you're 18 years old, you don't know anything.
No.
When you're 20 years old, 21 years old, you know nothing. Like you shouldn't be making long-term life plans at that point. So I think keeping people healthy from that age and on, and getting them into those habits early when they want to be in those habits right away. Like they go from sports in high school, now they have an app that can show them how they can get better at sports by getting stronger, getting faster, getting fitter, being
and
more
also,
all around.
taking over from that point.
Yep.
Because in school, they have something.
Yep, you either get a scholarship before or you go and you drink your way through college. You know what I mean? And now people can build up knowledge and they can start careers in health right outside of high school. I mean, some people don't even need to go to college. I never went to college for that stuff. I'm perfectly happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just can kind of, I think that's going to create just people that build healthy habits while they're young, and then they're going to grow up and they're going to get older and they're just working out is just part of the day.
Yeah.
That's just something that I do every day, and it's something that should happen every day, and just
it's something they want to
completely normalize it.
Yeah.
Yep. Like eating healthy. Why is eating healthy a diet? It's not. It shouldn't be.
It's
just
eating.
You should just be eating.
Yeah.
Eating healthy. You should be eating good food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did it?
We did it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.